Hey everyone. Okay, I'll go ahead and get started, but yeah, make sure you get scanned and get your ticket. Hi, I am Lewallen, and I am the head librarian at the Webb School of Knoxville. We are a pre-K through 12 school, but I manage the middle and the high school. And I'm going to be talking about using social media to promote all of the things that we have on Sora, and get our kids interested in reading all of our ebooks and audiobooks and magazines. If you're not familiar, Sora is Overdrive's school platform. So if you think about the public library having Libby, Sora is for schools. And there are a lot of really great tools in there built specifically for educators. You can get class sets of books and assign them to students. You can keep reading stats and students get achievements as they read. There are things like dyslexic font. Just lots of really great things built in specifically for the education world. So highly recommend checking it out if you're new to Sora. We have had Sora since 2016 or 2017. We really love the platform and are really excited about it. So why was I chosen to be here? I was one of the Sora school stars this year for a post that I did on social media celebrating National Hobby Month with our Sora collection. So one of the things that I do at the beginning of each school year is I go through lists of bookish holidays and put them on my Google Calendar that I look at every single day. Everything from the big banned books week and school library month to smaller things like National Coffee Day and Dear Diary Day, so that on those days, I can plug something from the library on our social media. It also helps to have a built-in thing that I am always posting that week. I'm like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to post. Nothing cool happened in the library today. Oh, but it's Dear Diary Day. Let me post some diary ebooks, right? So I knew that National Hobby Month was in January, and I had been racking my brain all month about how I was going to promote that. I don't have a huge nonfiction collection for those types of books, not a lot of learn how to play guitar or learn how to crochet or sew or whatever, any of those things. And fiction didn't seem like the right way to promote that. And then I thought about our Sora magazine collection. And these are just some places where I usually look to get those. ALA Programming Librarian has a really great list that they update every year of bookish holidays. Demco has activity calendars. In the past, they have done them for middle and high school. Now they only do them for elementary. So if you want to go bug Demco and tell them to bring back the middle and high school ones, that would be great. And then Book Riot also does this every year as well. And I'll be sharing this presentation at the end so you can get those links. So this was what I came up with. January is National Hobby Month. Find a magazine to fuel your hobby on Sora. So I separated out the magazines for who they were for, right? Our music buffs, gamers, chefs, gearheads, adventurers, scientists, and sports fans. And since I created this post last January, there have been so many more magazines added to the Sora magazine collection. So I have so many more things I can share. I was actually doing a scavenger hunt with my freshman students as an orientation to the library, and I had them look up how many magazines were in the Sora collection. And between the time when I made the scavenger hunt on Friday and they did the scavenger hunt on Monday, new magazines were added, and I had to change it after the first period. Because they were like, no, there's 212 now, not 177. So yeah, it's a really great collection. I had gotten rid of my physical magazine collection. They had slowly started weeding them out pre-COVID. But of course, I'm sure like many of you during COVID, they couldn't be touched because they were not easily cleanable. So I got rid of all of my physical magazines at that time and had been looking into digital magazine collections. And I was really excited when Sora came out with one. Because I didn't want to have another platform that my students had to learn. They already knew Sora. Everything would be in one place. And it was a lot of really great magazines, even then at the beginning, and they just keep adding and adding and adding. So definitely recommend checking that out. And there is stuff for all levels, and then stuff that students can read on their own for fun, but also stuff that teachers could use as part of class. So yeah, I plan to do this post again in January. And here are just some of the things that I would add. All these writing magazines are new since January, and I know I have a lot of students who are interested in creative writing and want to be authors someday, so supporting them in that way. I am a crafter, so anything that has to do with crafting, I want to push my students to do it as well. Vanity Fair is another one that's really new, which is great because I think when I think of magazines, I typically think of fashion magazines, and so it's nice to have some of that in there. There are a bunch of new running magazines that I know my creative or my cross country and track kids would really enjoy. So there's a whole lot more that I could add this year that I did not have in the past, but they just have kept adding things and adding things. So some tips and how I go about creating things. Canva is amazing, and I use it not just for social media, but also for creating slides for classes, posters for the library, all of that. You can get a free pro account with Canva for Education. And in there too, you can also add students to a classroom so that students also have a Canva account. So highly recommend Canva. It's really easy to create really great things. I've got a First Page Friday post that I did a while back. Our Top 10 Tuesday, what's been checked out on Sora. Hobbit Day was just a few weeks ago, so we had a happy Hobbit Day post. And you'll notice if I'm talking about a book that we have as an ebook, I try to add the little Sora icon so that students can see, even if they don't go in and read my little blurb, which they probably don't often, they can see, oh, this is on Sora. I can go grab it really quickly. Some more tips about just promoting on social media. Be specific, share specific titles. I don't think this would have been as successful if I had said, go look at our magazines. But because I was like, these are the magazines that we have and who might be interested in them, it got a lot more use out of that post. So the same thing with titles of books, right? Don't just say, go look at our ebooks, but here is the specific ebooks, the specific audiobooks. And Sora lets you really easily share specific links to things as well. So if you find the title in Sora and just copy that URL, you can share that link and it will take students directly to that ebook, which is really great. And then be repetitive and share it everywhere to reach more students. When I share something on my Instagram post in my grid, I also share it to my Instagram story because I know that I have students who don't look at the posts at all. They are only looking at the stories. The great thing about stories too is that you can add those links directly in the story and you can't add them in the post. So again, this was a First Page Friday that I did a couple weeks ago for a visiting author. And I was able to add the link directly to that book for students to check it out. And then I also share things in my weekly newsletters to students and teachers as well. So if I post something on the Instagram, it means I probably spend at least a little bit of time on it. I want to get as much use out of that spend time that I can. So I share it in our newsletter that I send out as well. I send out a weekly newsletter to students on Wednesdays for Webb Reads Wednesdays. And then teachers on Fridays so that they have the whole weekend to look at it. So some other popular hashtags that you might want to use. First Page Friday is one that I do when it's the end of the week and I have no idea what I want to post. It's always a really great one. And again, there's usually a holiday that I can tie it into or something that's happening at school. You can also use First Line Friday, totally depends. I really like First Page Friday because I can go into Sora and I can look at the sample of the book and I can change the size of the text so I get exactly the piece of text that I want for my First Page Friday. First Listen Friday is another fun one to do with audiobooks. Share like the first 30 minutes or 30 seconds, 45 seconds of the audiobook. And again, you can speed it up or slow it down depending on the text and how much you want to be in that post. Because I always like to try to end it at the end of a sentence so it doesn't just cut off in the middle of something. Mystery Monday is a good one. Thriller Thursday, those two kind of fall hand in hand, but they're really big with my high school students. Tech Tip Tuesday is one that I've started doing a lot more recently, especially sharing new features. So again, specific Overdrive and Sora features. Sora now has notification emails, but students have to go in and turn that on so that when they get their hold, they can go check it out, but they have to turn that on. So showing students how to do that, showing students how to connect their public library Libby account with their Sora account so that when they're searching, they can search both accounts at once and get twice as many books, probably more than that. I'm sure the public library has way more than I do. And there's one more thing. Yeah, and just how to access things that they may not know about. How to use the dyslexic font and change to the dyslexic font and things like that. And then new book alerts is one that I really like as well. Every time we get new books, no matter where we get those books. So thanks so much for listening. You are welcome to follow my library on Instagram at Webb Central Library. You can contact me at my email there. And then there is the link for this presentation, so you can get all of those links that I shared.